China's Mars orbiter captures a rare glimpse of the three-eye atlas, the interstellar visitor.
While NASA maintains complete silence, China has just shifted the narrative. Between October 1st and 4th, 2025, China's Tianwen-1 spacecraft orbiting Mars captured astonishing images of 3I/ATEL-AS, the mysterious interstellar object now streaking through our solar system. One photo taken on October 3rd from nearly 29 million kilometers away stunned the scientific world. It didn't just show a faint tail, it revealed a massive glowing coma stretching thousands of kilometers across. What Tianwen-1 recorded wasn't just another comet, it was a message, a cosmic question written across the void, and humanity still doesn't know how to answer it. The first clear look, how Tianwen-1 detected the interstellar stranger. When the China National Space Administration publicly confirmed the sighting, shockwaves rippled through the global astronomy community. Tianwen-1 was never meant for this mission. Since 2021, it has quietly orbited Mars, conducting geological surveys, studying dunes, scanning landscapes, and analyzing frozen polar regions. It was built to observe Mars, not chase interstellar mysteries. Yet in early October 2025, everything changed. The spacecraft redirected its high-resolution camera away from the red planet and toward a foreign traveler no one fully understands. And what it saw may rewrite space science forever. 3I/ATEL-AS is only the third confirmed interstellar object ever observed, and capturing it was anything but easy. The object was faint, fast, and unpredictable. Tianwen-1's instruments were originally designed to photograph bright Martian terrain, not a tiny glowing object racing across a star-filled background. Every exposure required precision timing, and engineers spent long nights recalculating the paths so the camera could follow something moving tens of kilometers per second. For 4 days, from October 1st to 4th, 2025, Tianwen-1 tracked the mysterious traveler across the Martian sky. Then on October 3rd, it finally happened. From nearly 28.96 million kilometers away, the probe's high-res camera captured the clearest image ever taken of 3I/ATEL-AS. The photo revealed a bright, concentrated core wrapped in a massive halo-like coma stretching thousands of kilometers wide. Even through interference and cosmic static, something about its near-perfect shape looked intentional, almost engineered. Scientists in Beijing described it as a once-in-humanity image. To them, this wasn't just a comet, it was a preserved piece of another star system, silently passing Mars like a message from deep cosmic history. The data shocked mission teams worldwide. No spacecraft had ever photographed an interstellar object from the orbit of another planet before. China had achieved what no other nation, not even NASA, had done, and the timing made it even stranger. These images surfaced just as NASA's high-resolution files remained unexplained and inaccessible. The shot that shouldn't have been possible was. The camera built for Mars had just rewritten the rules of space exploration. HIRIC, short for High-Resolution Imaging Camera, was never designed to track something like 3I/ATEL-AS. It was built to map the bright, detailed surface of Mars, capturing craters, sand dunes, and dust storms. It wasn't supposed to chase a faint, fast-moving interstellar visitor drifting through deep space. Yet somehow, during the first week of October 2025, it achieved what astronomers are now calling an impossible capture. The biggest obstacle wasn't software or engineering, it was the laws of physics. 3I/ATEL-AS was flying past Mars at more than 68 kilometers per second, a frozen fragment of another star system flashing through frame as Tianwen-1 orbited far below. Even the slightest miscalculation would have resulted in nothing more than an empty blur, a missed shot lost to the darkness. The imaging team understood the challenge. They recalculated exposure settings again and again, correcting for the spacecraft's orbit, solar interference, and the comet's constantly shifting brightness. HIRIC was pushed far beyond its intended performance limits. When the data finally arrived, the results stunned everyone. The images weren't just successful, they were breathtaking. Against a backdrop of distant stars, a faint glowing object finally appeared. sharp enough for scientists to see both its compact solid core and the massive hazy coma surrounding it. The gradual change in brightness suggested it was active, releasing material in real time as it interacted with the solar wind. What should have been impossible was now proven. China's Mars orbiter had captured the first clear image of an interstellar object from the orbit of another planet. Behind closed doors, engineers acknowledged something unusual. During the capture, they were forced to adjust the exposure pattern because the object wasn't following the predicted trajectory. 3IM/OEATLAS appeared to drift off course, not by much, just a fraction of a degree, but enough to raise a serious question. What was influencing its path? Solar radiation and gas jets alone couldn't fully explain it. The moving shadow, China's GIF, that shook the world. A single photograph would have been historic, but China went further. Days after the Tianwen-1 announcement, the China National Space Administration released something even more shocking: a short animated GIF created from multiple high-resolution frames. The clip showed 3I/ATLAS slowly shifting across a star-filled background, a pale blue-white glow moving almost imperceptibly from frame to frame. It was grainy, it was silent, but it changed everything. That simple animation carried more weight than any official NASA update in months. It proved one undeniable fact: 3I/ATLAS wasn't just drifting, it was moving with purpose. The GIF revealed the subtle shimmer of its coma as the object rotated, its brightness pulsing in repeating patterns. This wasn't just a frozen relic wandering through space. It was an active traveler. Astronomers studying the animation noticed something unusual. The tail didn't just trail behind the object. It seemed to bend, shift, and pulse, as if responding to forces no one could see. Some experts suggested it was simply reacting to solar wind. Others argued the movement looked intentional, almost patterned, too precise to be random. The clip spread across the internet within hours. Space watchers called it the blink of another world. Scientists were stunned that Tianwen-1 had captured something even the Hubble Space Telescope and the James Webb couldn't: the unmistakable dynamic motion of an interstellar visitor. And while the world buzzed with theories and excitement, NASA remained silent. Their own high-resolution data, gathered during the same period, had still not been released. That silence made the video feel even more mysterious. For the first time, the public wasn't just being told about an anomaly. They were seeing it: a traveler from another star system, moving in real time, behaving in ways no model fully predicted. The faint flicker of 3/ATLAS wasn't just light. It felt like information, a whisper from the unknown, hinting at something we weren't prepared to understand. What China shared wasn't just a piece of data, it was a signal, one that forced the world to reconsider whether this object was simply a comet or something more. The strange light within 3I/ATLAS. When Chinese researchers enhanced the Tianwen-1 images, they discovered something unexpected. Surrounding the solid nucleus was a massive glowing cloud, a coma spanning thousands of kilometers. But unlike typical comet comas that gradually fade into space, this one seemed to pulse as though illuminated from the inside. Frame by frame, scientists saw tiny, consistent fluctuations, too structured to be random noise, too rhythmic to ignore. Under normal circumstances, a comet glows because sunlight that heats its icy surface, releasing gas and dust. But this wasn't behaving like a typical comet at all. Something about it felt different, almost purposeful. But when scientists analyzed the Tianwen-1 data, they found something surprising. The coma of 3I/ATLAS contained far less water than expected. Instead, its light signature showed high levels of carbon dioxide, along with traces of nickel and several unidentified metallic compounds. Those results didn't match any known profile of a natural comet. It was as if the object's chemistry was engineered for durability, capable of withstanding radiation, extreme heat, and pressure that would destroy ordinary cosmic material. Even the glow behaved in unusual ways. In one section of the image sequence, the inner halo brightened suddenly, then dimmed again in repeating cycles, almost like a heartbeat. Some experts suggested rotation could explain it, but the timing didn't match the predicted spin rate. That meant the light wasn't just reflected sunlight. It was coming from specific emissions within the object itself. Meanwhile, NASA remained silent. Their unreleased high-rise images, taken around the same period, could confirm or contradict the Chinese findings. Yet no explanation or statement came. Until then, the world was left with only the Tianwen-1 evidence, and the steady, rhythmic glow coming from something that shouldn't glow that way kept the mystery alive. The impossible distance. How Tianwen-1 captured the image from nearly 29 million kilometers away. At first, the numbers didn't feel believable. The Tianwen-1 probe, orbiting Mars, had captured its now famous images of 3 I/ATLAS from about 28.96 million kilometers away, a distance so extreme it seemed impossible for a camera never intended for deep space imaging. To put it into perspective, that distance is roughly 75 times greater than the space between Earth and the Moon. At that scale, even the tiniest error in focus, trajectory, or timing could have caused the comet to vanish completely from the frame. Yet somehow, everything aligned, and the impossible shot became real. The high-res camera aboard Tianwen-1 was never built for this type of mission. It was designed to study Mars, its rocks, dunes, canyons, and bright surface, not to detect a faint object racing through deep space. Yet in early October 2025, the Chinese team decided to push it far beyond its intended purpose, attempting one of the most daring imaging feats in space history. Through a series of manual adjustments in long exposure tracking sequences, the probe successfully locked onto 3 I/ATLAS as it sped through the solar system at incredible velocity, tens of kilometers per second. What made the achievement even more astonishing was the clarity of the results. Despite the enormous distance, the images revealed both the dense nucleus and the detailed structure of the glowing coma surrounding it. The tracking and stabilization system performed with near-perfect precision, so precise that each pixel represented millions of kilometers of distance, yet the object stayed sharply defined. But another question quickly emerged. Why did Tianwen-1 target 3 I/ATLAS at all? It soon became clear that China had been monitoring the object quietly for months, long before most of the world even knew it existed. Whether this was strategic planning, coincidence, or privileged information remains unknown. But one undeniable fact became clear. The most detailed view humanity had ever obtained of an interstellar visitor didn't come from NASA. It came from Beijing. With that, the balance between discovery and secrecy shifted. NASA's silence. Why the US still hasn't released its images. As Tianwen-1's images spread across the internet, curiosity in the West quickly turned into frustration. One question echoed everywhere. Where are NASA's images? The United States had the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter equipped with the high-rise camera, a system capable of capturing images with nearly triple the resolution of China's high-res. It observed 3 I/ATLAS around the same time frame, yet nothing was released. NASA's official explanation was that a federal government shutdown, beginning just days before the object's closest pass to Mars, temporarily halted non-essential public data releases. But that excuse didn't convince many. A shutdown could delay a press release, but it wouldn't stop raw scientific data from being collected or transmitted. Meanwhile, the orbiter remained fully operational and capable of sending high-resolution imagery. As days passed with still no images, the silence grew increasingly suspicious. China had captured, processed, and published its findings within days. The US, despite having stronger equipment and larger resources, remained silent. Eventually, even members of the US government demanded answers. On October 31, 2025, Representative Anna Paulina Luna sent a formal request to NASA's acting administrator, demanding immediate release of all 3 I/ATLAS images and data, arguing that the public deserved access to information collected with taxpayer funding. But still, no images appeared. For the first time, NASA wasn't leading the global conversation about a major space anomaly. China was. And that silence, whether intentional or simply unexplained, only fueled one growing belief: 3I/ATLAS may be far stranger than anyone is willing to publicly admit. The political shockwave when Congress stepped in. By early November 2025, the situation had grown far beyond astronomy. What started as a routine data delay had escalated into a full-blown political confrontation in Washington. China's Gonghe release of 3I/ATLAS images, paired with NASA's complete silence, sparked what many began calling the first space transparency crisis of the century. It was no longer just scientists demanding answers. Now lawmakers were involved. On October 31, 2025, U.S. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna sent a formal letter to NASA's acting administrator requesting the immediate release of all data and imagery related to 3I/ATLAS. Her message was blunt. She accused NASA of withholding scientific information and questioned whether the delay was really due to the government shutdown, or if something far more intentional was happening behind the scenes. The letter went viral overnight. Media outlets described it as a rare public challenge to NASA's secrecy. For decades, space policy had quietly operated under bipartisan trust, but now that stability was unraveling. Private briefings began behind closed doors, and though no details were released, multiple insiders hinted that NASA was uneasy about what the images revealed. Meanwhile, China continued releasing data, high-resolution stills, brightness measurements, and even early spectrographic readings. Each new update intensified debate and placed NASA under growing scrutiny. China appeared confident and transparent. NASA looked cautious, perhaps even fearful. The hidden files. What NASA may be afraid to show, inside NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, tension was rising. Officially, the agency maintained that the shutdown delayed public communications. But quiet internal leaks suggested another possibility. The high-rise images of 3I/ATLAS showed something no one expected. Some reports claimed the images revealed patterns or structures inside the coma that didn't resemble natural formations. These weren't random outgassing streaks. They were shapes, faint but geometric. If true, it meant 3I/ATLAS might not be just an interstellar rock. It could be manufactured. An idea once considered science fiction was suddenly impossible to ignore. Harvard astrophysicist Dr. Avi Loeb, known for studying objects like Oumuamua, noted that 3I/ATLAS showed unusual acceleration, strange reflectivity patterns, and flight behavior that hinted at something more than a comet. For the first time, NASA's silence almost made sense. If the clearest image of an interstellar visitor showed evidence of artificial design, releasing it without explanation could spark confusion or panic. Space agencies survive on stability, not speculation. So while China shaped the public narrative, NASA stayed quiet, guarding what may be the sharpest image ever taken of 3I/ATLAS. Whether that silence came from caution, uncertainty, or something deeper, no one knew, but one truth became undeniable. Whatever high-rise captured during that week in October 2025 shook the agency to its core. China steps forward, and the world takes notice. For the first time in modern space exploration, China, not the United States, became the primary source of information about an interstellar object. When the Tianwen-1 images were released on October 5, 2025, just days after the object passed near Mars, the global scientific community felt the impact instantly. The CNSA didn't just beat NASA to publication, they rewrote the power structure of space discovery. Tianwen-1 was never designed for deep space targets. Its camera system was meant for Mars's landscape, not a fast-moving object millions of kilometers away. Yet through rapid recalibration and near-perfect tracking, China captured what many called the most difficult image ever taken in space. The photos showed a structured halo, a coma thousands of kilometers wide. Some frames revealed strange internal reflections or shifting bright spots. The CNSA labeled them simply as spectral anomalies. But scientists around the world began speculating. The new space race, not for land, but for truth. As the mystery deepened, the world entered a new kind of space race, one not driven by rockets or colonies, but by information. NASA remained under pressure. The high-rise images were still locked behind internal review. The shutdown excuse was losing credibility, especially after reports surfaced that access to specific NASA servers became restricted only hours after China's release. Meanwhile, global agencies, ESA, ISRO, JAXA, publicly demanded transparency, calling 3I/AT/LAS a scientific moment for all humanity. But beneath diplomatic language, urgency was clear. China pushed even further. On November 10, 2025, they released a new report describing faint blue flashes detected near the object's tail, bursts that didn't match known comet activity. Even stranger, the timing aligned almost perfectly with unusual plasma readings from Voyager 1 at the edge of the heliosphere. The implication was chilling. Something interacting with 3I/AT/LAS might be influencing space across billions of kilometers. The most watched object in the sky. Now, every major telescope and deep space instrument on Earth and beyond is pointed at the same silent traveler, 3I/AT/LAS. No one knows exactly what it is, not yet, but the world agrees on one thing: it did not come here unnoticed, and it did not behave like something truly natural. The mystery continues, and humanity is watching.